I spent the next morning unpacking more boxes until boredom got the best of me. After an early lunch, I found myself sitting on our side stoop again. While I had my journal in my hand, I realized that I was waiting. I almost didn't want to admit it to myself, but it was very clear what I was waiting for. Who was I kidding? I was waiting for a who. After almost an hour, the front door opened and I tried not to seem too desperate. I stood up as she passed me. "Hey, Shelby." She turned around with a scowl on her face.
Do I have to start walking you now too?
Sir Arthur looked up from the tree that had his attention for a moment before going back to sniffing. He didn't really seem to mind. "I just thought, I could walk around with you and I stammered. I never had this tough of a time connecting with someone before, but generally when I'm talking to somebody, they aren't looking at me with contempt. This was a bad idea. Shelby turned on her heel.
Well, come on then.
Not the most welcoming gesture, but I followed her. I wasn't exactly sure what my plan was, but hanging out with Shelby was way better than being alone in the apartment. "So you're a detective?" I asked to break the silence. Plus, how cool was that? A detective?
Yes.
She replied as she kept up her speedy pace. But like how?
By solving cases?
So did you just always know how to? Shelby cut me off.
Winston, what is it that you want?
What did I want? I didn't understand why she was so angry all of a sudden. "I want to get to know you better, that's all. I think all the stuff you do is really cool. I'm sorry if I seem nosy, but whenever I got to a new post, I like to get to know the friends I met,"
Oh,
she said with a softer voice.
I'm not used to people asking me things without wanting anything.
It's okay. We walked in silence for a few minutes. I didn't want to push her, but it was clear she didn't want to talk.
It's something that I've always been good at.
Shelby finally said.
Ever since I was little, I could remember facts and have been curious about how things work. My brother's the same way. Well, in the fact that he's intelligent, not something I would ever admit to him, but he's also extremely lazy.
So you have a photographic memory. I've heard about people who can remember everything they read or see.
You're referring to eidetic memory, and no, I don't merely regurgitate random facts back. I observe, I analyze. That takes talent. It was a hobby, but then 2 years ago, there was a rash of thefts at the school library. I studied the evidence and was able to pin down the culprit using simple powers of observation.
Wait, I did the math. You solved your first crime at 7? Shelby looked upset.
Sadly, yes. I wish I had started sooner so I could have more experience under my belt, but luckily, there's enough action in the neighborhood to keep me busy.
So people call you or...
When you're as good as I am, you get a reputation. A good reputation. People know each other in this neighborhood. They talk. They know what I can do. Some people like it. Others don't.
We turned the corner back onto Baker Street. It was a much shorter walk than yesterday. I couldn't help but wonder if I had anything to do with that. As we approached our building, I saw somebody standing outside. It was a girl with big brown eyes and curly black hair.
Shelby! Something awful has happened! Really?
Shelby responded to bad news with an enthusiasm that was a little unsettling.
What's going on? Daisy has gone missing. I can't find her anywhere, and the big show's in 3 days. You've come to the right person, Tamara.
Shelby's lips curled into what appeared to be an actual, genuine smile.
This sounds like a case for Shelby Holmes. I'll be right back.
While I was left alone, Shelby bounded up the stairs with Sir Arthur while I was left alone with the girl. "Hi, I'm John." The girl wiped away a stray tear on her cheek.
I'm Tamara.
"I'm sorry about your..." I realized that I had no idea who Daisy was. After a beat of awkward silence, Tamara finally answered.
Daisy's my dog.
"Oh, that's awful. Are you friends with Shelby?" She shook her head.
Not really. We go to school together.
"I'm going to the academy too," I said with a little too much exuberance to someone who just lost her dog. But I was excited to meet another classmate. "I'm in the creative writing program. What about you?"
Dance.
She gave me a tiny smile.
So you're new to town?
Finally, someone who knows how to have a normal conversation. Someone who can't guess everything about me. "Yeah, I just moved here, into this building." I pointed at the 4-story brownstone that Shelby was now exiting.
Let's go.
Shelby called out as Tamara walked over to a slick black car that was parked across the street. I didn't know what to do. Shelby was definitely going to do that Shelby thinks she does, and I didn't want to miss it. So for the second day in a row, I found myself calling out to her. Wait! Both girls turned around and looked at me expectantly. Can I come along? I asked, feeling foolish and a little guilty knowing that Mom would definitely not approve. I was basically getting in a car with strangers, and who knew what we were going to get up to? Tamara looked at Shelby.
Does he work with you?
Shelby scoffed.
I work alone.
Well, maybe I can help. I did grow up on an army post and have a lot of experience with the military. Okay, that was stretching it, but maybe there was something I could do to help. Crazier things have happened. Shelby rolled her eyes at my puffed up statement. I should have known better than to try that in front of her. I was about to head inside the house when Tamara shrugged her shoulders.
It's fine with me.
I ran so quickly across the street, Shelby didn't have a chance to object. Before I knew it, I was in the car with Shelby and Tamara on their way to solve a crime.